You know that feeling when music just grabs you? I mean,
Hmm.
it has this raw power and beauty that really sticks with you.
Oh, definitely. That deep impact.
Well, that kind of experience is coming to Los Angeles soon, and that's what we're diving into today.
Right.
We're going deep on Giuseppe Verdi's Requiem. And this is all sparked by a very special and free performance happening Sunday, May 18th, 2025. That's 7:30 p.m. at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on Sawtell Boulevard.
And what makes this particular performance so compelling, I think, beyond just, the incredible music itself, are the circumstances behind it.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, the Palisades Symphony and the Brentwood Palisades Chorale, they've faced some really significant challenges recently. The devastating wildfires out there didn't just destroy homes, they also took out their regular performance venues.
Oh, wow. Palisades Lutheran Church and Community United Methodist Church, right?
Exactly. So finding a space, keeping the music going, it's been tough.
It really says something about their dedication, doesn't it? The
Yeah.
musicians, the whole community.
It really does.
And it's just fantastic that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints stepped up with such generosity to make this happen.
Absolutely. A huge thanks is definitely due to Los Angeles Stake President Brian Ames and especially Mallory Mapp for their support. It's crucial.
Yeah, really vital.
So for anyone listening who maybe isn't familiar with this piece, Verdi's Requiem, it's often called his greatest opera in disguise.
Ah, okay. I like that.
Yeah, it's this really potent mix of deep spiritual feeling and, frankly, intense theatricality. It was composed in memory of Alessandro Manzoni, the great Italian poet. Verdi really admired him.
Okay, so let's dig into this upcoming performance then. We've got the Palisades Symphony and the Brentwood Palisades Chorale joining forces.
That's right. And leading them is Dr. Maxim Kuzin. He's the new music director for the Palisades Symphony.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and people describe him as, really passionate, visionary, clearly the driving force behind pulling this ambitious collaboration together, especially now.
Under these difficult circumstances, yeah.
Exactly.
And we also need to mention Susan Rosenstein, the choral director.
Oh, absolutely. Decades of leadership with the Brentwood Palisades Chorale. She's really built that choir into this thriving community group.
Amazing. And the soloists. I hear it's quite a lineup.
It really is an exceptional quartet. We have Diana Farrell, the soprano. She's known for this really radiant voice, very expressive. She's sung with the Santa Barbara Choral Society, Ojai Festival Singers. Really known for bringing this emotional depth to sacred works like this, real vocal brilliance.
Nice. And the mezzo-soprano.
That's Alexis Wesley. She's a Cuban-American artist, and she has this wonderfully diverse background, opera, oratorio.
Yeah.
She's actually sung the Verdi Requiem before, along with things like Messiah and Pergolesi's Stabat Mater,
Wow.
and even musical theater. She's performed with groups like Pacific Opera Project, Mission Opera. Quite versatile.
Sounds like it. Okay, who's the tenor?
The tenor is Wee Young.
Yeah.
He's a really accomplished soloist, but also a conductor himself.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. He sung major opera roles like Samson, performed at Disney Concert Hall, Soul Arts Center, and he's also a sought-after teacher, so he really understands this music deeply.
And rounding out the quartet.
The bass baritone is Ben Lowe. He's been hailed for his stentorian voice, big sound.
Dictoria.
Yeah. And get this, he recently made his European debut singing this role, the bass soloist in the Verdi Requiem in Siena and Florence.
No kidding. In Italy.
Yep. And he's won the Maryland Horn Song Competition, sung with LA Opera, Opera Delaware. Quite the resume already.
That really is an impressive group.
It truly is a remarkable assembly of talent.
And just to remind everyone, admission is free.
That's right, free admission. But, given everything the Palisades Symphony has been through, donations would be incredibly helpful. They're trying to recover, rebuild.
Absolutely. Support the arts community. How can people donate?
There'll be information at the concert, including a Venmo QR code, or you can go to their website, palisadesymphony.org. Just look for the support section.
Great. So it's a chance to hear amazing music and also, lend some support. It really sets the stage for an evening of, well, hopefully renewal and transcendence through this incredible music.
Definitely. And, to really get the most out of the Requiem, I think understanding a bit about Verdi himself helps.
The man behind the music.
Exactly. Giuseppe Verdi, 1813 to 1901. He wasn't just a composer. He was like a major force in 19th century Italy.
Yeah, absolutely. Came from a pretty small village, right? Humble beginnings.
Very much so. And rose to become this absolutely central figure in Italian opera. I mean, Rigoletto, La Traviata, Aida, these are staples everywhere still.
Cornerstones of the repertoire. And his music wasn't just entertainment, was it? It tapped into something deeper in Italy at the time.
Precisely. It got deeply connected with the Italian Risorgimento, that whole movement for a unified, independent Italy.
Right, the unification movement.
Yeah. And that famous chorus, Va Pensiero, from his opera Nabucco, about longing for home and freedom, it basically became an unofficial anthem for the cause. It resonated so deeply.
Incredible. But his own life, it wasn't all triumph, was it? There was significant tragedy there, too.
Oh, absolutely. Devastating losses early on. He lost his first wife and their 2 young children.
Oh, unimaginable.
It really is. And that experience of profound grief and then finding the resilience to keep going, it profoundly shaped his music. You can almost hear that weight, that emotional truth in so much of his work.
You think it fed into the Requiem particularly?
Oh, I think absolutely. It feels like he's channeling that very personal sorrow into these universal expressions of mourning, but also hope somehow. It feels incredibly authentic.
And he wasn't just locked away writing music, right? He was involved in public life.
He was, yeah. He actually served briefly in the Italian parliament, and he was known for his philanthropy, too.
Like the retirement home for musicians.
Exactly, the Casa di Riposo per Musicisti in Milan. A really moving gesture. He cared about his art, but also about his community, his country. A truly revered figure. So keeping that complex person in mind, it definitely enriches listening to the Requiem.
Okay, so we have this brilliant composer shaped by triumph and tragedy. Now let's really get into the Requiem itself. You called it a fusion of sacred ritual and operatic drama. What makes that blend so potent?
Well, Verdi's Messa Requiem, it premiered May 22nd, 1874 in Milan. Verdi himself conducted, and as we said, it was for Alessandro Manzoni, whom he deeply admired. It feels less like a formal commission and more like this very personal outpouring.
And you mentioned earlier it grew out of something else.
Yeah, that's right. After Rossini died in 1868, Verdi suggested a big collaborative requiem by different Italian composers. He wrote the final part, the Libera Me. That big project never actually happened, sadly. But then when Manzoni died 5 years later, Verdi revisited that powerful Libera Me section and basically built the entire Requiem Mass around it. It was performed on the first anniversary of Manzoni's death.
So it uses the traditional Latin text of the Catholic funeral mass.
Yes, it follows that structure.
But musically, it sounds more like opera.
It's absolutely infused with operatic color and dramatic pacing. The orchestration alone is huge. Double winds, 4 bassoons, piccolo, lots of trumpets, some even offstage for effect horns, trombones, this thing called a cimbasso, which is like a bass trombone and tuba hybrid, plus very prominent timpani and bass drum.
Wow. So the orchestra isn't just accompaniment.
Not at all. It's a storyteller in its own right. It's completely integral to the emotional journey.
Can you give an example of how that orchestration really hits?
Oh, sure. The most famous part is probably the Dies Irae, the Day of Wrath.
Right.
You get these absolutely massive thwacks on the timpani and bass drum. It's really visceral. You feel it. And then in the tuba mirum section within that, you hear those offstage trumpets calling out, creating this almost surround sound apocalyptic feeling.
Yeah, goosebumps just thinking about it.
interactive theater, pure musical drama.
In the dynamics, the volume is also extreme, I gather.
Oh, completely. Verdi pushes it from the quietest possible whisper, marked PPPP, up to the absolute loudest imaginable huff.
4 Ps to 4 Fs.
Exactly. And these shifts aren't just for show. They really serve the emotional flow. The very opening, the Requiem Aeternam, kind of emerges out of silence, this real stillness. But then, bam, that piece is just shattered by the first terrifying chords of the Dies Irae. It's a huge contrast.
And what about the soloists? How does he write for the soprano, mezzo, tenor, and bass?
He uses them masterfully. They shift between these moments of really intense operatic outpourings and passages that feel much more intimate, almost like chamber music.
Okay.
So, for example, in the Agnus Dei, Lamb of God, you get this incredibly stark duet. The soprano and mezzo sing together, unaccompanied, in octaves, just their voices.
Wow, exposed.
Very. And then that simple line is gently echoed by the chorus and the flutes. It's a moment of just profound vulnerability and beauty. Then contrast that with something like the Lux Eternal Light, where there's this incredibly delicate a cappella trio, just voices creating this timeless, almost ethereal feeling.
Yeah.
But then you get the Sanctus, which is this absolutely exuberant double fugue for the chorus, divided into 2 groups.
Okay, double fugue. Break that down.
Sure. A fugue is like a complex round where one musical line introduces a theme and then other lines imitate it, weaving together. A double fugue does this with 2 main themes simultaneously.
So even more complex and interwoven.
Exactly. It creates this incredibly rich, dense, joyful texture. It's thrilling, a real showpiece for the choir, very operatic in its energy.
It sounds like the sheer scale and drama of it all maybe makes it less suited for a standard church service.
That's generally the case, yeah. Which is why you mostly hear it in concert halls.
The opera and clerical dress line makes sense then.
Right. That was Hans von Bülow, a famous conductor and critic back then. He might have meant it a bit critically. But it does capture the work's boldness. It is theatrical. But I think that unique fusion, taking this sacred text and giving it the full power of opera, is exactly what makes it so enduring. It hits on a different level.
And clearly it still connects. You mentioned recent performances.
Oh, absolutely. It's constantly being performed. There was a big BBC Proms performance in London in 2024 that got rave reviews for its dramatic power. And just this year, the conductor Riccardo Mutui did it in London too, hailed as major events.
So it's not a museum piece at all.
Not in the slightest. It still grabs audiences, moves people really profoundly today.
So when you boil it down, what makes Verdi's Requiem such a landmark? Why does it hold such a significant place?
I think it's that uncompromising quality. It respects the sacred text, absolutely, but it also unleashes the full power of musical drama to explore these huge universal themes. Grief, fear, hope, transcendence. Verdi wasn't just writing a memorial for Manzoni. He created something much bigger. It feels like a really profound reflection on mortality itself, maybe even his own mortality, his own losses woven in. It's this incredibly powerful, passionate cry into eternity. That raw honesty is just undeniable.
What an amazing work, and as we've said, such a great opportunity for listeners here in LA to experience it live on May 18th.
A really significant opportunity, not just for the music, but also to see that resilience of the arts community firsthand.
Yeah, that collaboration in the face of challenge. It really invites you, the listener, to think about all the layers in this music, doesn't it?
Definitely. Thinking about how Verdi's own life, his grief, his admiration for Manzoni, it's all somehow woven into the notes.
So maybe a final thought for you as you anticipate hearing this, whether it's this upcoming performance or another one. How does knowing about Verdi's life, knowing the historical context, how does that deepen your personal experience of music this powerful?
That's a great question.
And, what does it really mean when a sacred text, something ancient and formal, is given this full-blooded, emotional, operatic treatment? It's certainly something to ponder as you let Verdi's masterpiece wash over you.